What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another movie review. I'm Chase Lee, reviewing for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and the movie I want to take a look at right now is She Dies Tomorrow. Now, this one comes from Neon. It is written and directed by Amy Seimetz, and this one tells the story of Amy, played by Caitlin Schell, and she thinks she's going to die tomorrow, and it's contagious. It's a great plot description that's on IMDb, short, sweet, to the point, a great hook to get you into the story, because you just don't know where it's going to go from there. Especially with that title and everything, it's very abrasive, and you're kind of curious, and you're just like, is she going to die tomorrow? What's going on? But that's what I like about it. She's short, sweet, to the point, but it draws you in, and that was the whole point of that. But a great plot description nonetheless. This one runs at 1 hour and 24 minutes, so it should be a breezy film if it is paced out correctly. So going into this, I never saw a trailer for it. I went into it blind, but I like Neon in the fact that they're kind of like IFC and A24. You just never know what you're going to get. They will throw out films to the world that are just completely different from the last film that they threw out to the world. And this is also the same company that threw out Parasite to the world. So you know that they got good taste. Sometimes they don't create good things, but for the most part, they are able to eye unique films and things that just stand out amongst the rest, and I really, really appreciate that. So I've been hearing a lot of buzz around this film, and one of the critics I follow, he really loved it, so I'm kind of excited about it, and I like it a lot. It's a really good film. If you are into a slow burn psychological drama, I think that's the best way to describe it. I think this film is for you. When it hits VOD this Friday, give it a watch if this is something that does interest you. So let's start with writer and director Amy Seimetz. To start on a visual front, I really like this kind of bleak, grim world that she created. Like, the whole thing just feels unsettling and just filled with dread, and you don't know what's going to happen. There's this weight that's constantly on your shoulders as you're watching this, and that has to do with the visual style and the pace of this film, because it does feel like it is hopeless. And there are people out there that probably think like this, and so it's just the type of atmosphere and mood that really just has like a punch to it. It's just something that feels like it's very weighty, but it's atmospheric at the same time. It's just intriguing. It's just really mysterious, and I like the way she presented this thing and really did kind of make it a slow burn, drawing out of a story, and not making this thing like fast paced, or you have to like get people's attention with jump scares. It's like, no, this is a very like character centric story. Like these characters are having existential crises, and they're just kind of talking out like what's going through their mind. So I love the way she presented this thing. As far as the actual story goes, it's really smart stuff. I mean, she utilizes this genre title and plot description, because it sounds like it's gonna be like a gore film or like some slasher film, but it's actually kind of deep and it's very poignant. The thing that's coming after Amy in this movie, and this is not really a spoiler, this happens within the first 15 minutes because it says it's contagious, so I will leave it at that. But she thinks she's going to die, but she seems perfectly healthy. Like, she is an alcoholic, and she's relapsed a couple times, but for the most part, she seems pretty healthy. But she is so convinced that she's going to die that if she tells other people this, they think she's crazy, and they dismiss it. But then the people in her life that hear this, they go home, and then they start to think it. So they think they're going to die. And they seem perfectly healthy. So the whole thing about this entire film is that Amy really wants to take the approach of paranoia and the power of words, and how some people out there can be easily convinced on anything. And this is also underlying themes of brainwashing. It's really frightening stuff on how people can think one thing, deny it, and then they start to think it over and over again in their head, and then they're convinced that something is wrong with them. I guess the WebMD generation of people, but that's a really scary thing. That's a very real thing. Death is, I think, the number one thing people are most afraid of. I think it's like death, heights, and like something else. But it's very like it's okay to be afraid of death, and it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to kind of normalize it because it is a thing that comes for all of us. But the paranoia of people thinking that they're going to die instantly like this when they're perfectly fine is dangerous, and it is harmful, and it is stuff that happens in real life where people could hear something, deny it, and then they could just convince themselves over and over again that it might happen to them. And that is what she's trying to get across, is that paranoia and the power of words like that and the convincibility of words is the villain here. And that is a very, very, very real threat that some people might go through in life. And I just thought it was a really kind of powerful theme to really drive through the narrative like this. So thank you, Amy, for doing that, because that is something that it leaves an impression on you. Because like I said, it's a very unsettling film. It's very eerie. It has a lot of weight to it. Like there's no room to breathe. It's just like you always feel like you're suffocating, because you almost like slightly believe these people. And that was the whole point, was to kind of make you feel uncomfortable like that. So great job on Amy's part. The performances are actually pretty good too. Caitlin Schell, who plays Amy, we start out with her in the story. Really haunting stuff. I mean, she really has to sell it in terms of like staring at nothing and really showing us in her facial expressions like what is in front of her and what is like causing her to react this way. And a lot of it is shock and horror. A lot of it's like, confusion, and it's just, paranoia is displayed as like this entity that's, permeating in these people's lives. But yeah, she does a really great job just kind of starting us out with the film, and then we kind of go to other characters, but she's a really great lead here. And then I'm not going to say who else is in it because there's a lot of interesting faces that pop up, but I think every single person that she interacts with, they're all great. And they all have a small role, and it's not small enough to where you're going to forget it. It's small enough to make a difference in the story, make a difference in the themes, and how people can perceive paranoia differently. And that's it, and then they're out. And I love that. They don't waste any time on screen. They're in there, they do their job, and then they're gone. So it's a very chain reaction type of film where we start with one character, go to a different. We might hop back to a couple more here and there, but it just kind of goes down this trail of people, that being this paranoia. So, yeah, I think all the performances are pretty well done. The cinematography is also striking, or kind of reminds me of like a lucid nightmare in some sequences, and some of the stuff that's shot, it's really just kind of dark, and there's a lot of shadows and stuff. Really, once again, adding to the uncertainty and the dread that's already toppled on with the narrative and how these characters are interacting. But yeah, it's shot well too. Very low budget film. I think they only shot in like a few houses. Yeah, it wasn't that extensive of a shoot, but they utilized their surroundings to the best of their ability and made it as creepy and unsettling as possible. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's an interesting take on paranoia and, like I said, the power of words and how it convince people. Because there are some people out there that just will believe pretty much anything, and that is a sad state of this. Of our species, there's a certain pocket of people in the entire world that will just believe anything. But that's what Amy was trying to get across, and it's absolutely terrifying. So a different type of horror film for sure. And I know a lot of people have also touted this as like kind of a dark comedy a little bit. I mentioned drama. It's a little bit thriller. It's got a little bit of everything. It's something kind of unique and kind of out there, and I really dug it. So I'm going to give She Dies Tomorrow a B+. So let me know down below what you thought of the movie. I know a lot of people are hailing it as one of the best of the year. I want to know someone out there that doesn't like it. Comment down below. Even if I don't respond to all of them, I do read all of them. So that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee. If you are watching this on YouTube and you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, do just that, and you can get up-to-dates on whenever I review anything or whatever comes my way. I'm kind of random with my schedule right now with everything going on, so it's just, You get what you get if you want to subscribe to me. But if you're more of a podcast person and you don't want to see my ugly mug, I totally get it. Real Me and Colin, a movie podcast feed. That's where I do all these reviews in audio form. I record these both at the same time, so you can get that if that is more of your jam. So, yeah, that's about it for this review. That will do it for this one, guys. I'm Chase Lee for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.